McClellan has done quite a bit of work out at our Malvern Airport, and that's going to be our first thing tonight on the agenda. On the agenda part of the meeting is possibility of some hangars. But before we do that, we'll go ahead and turn it over to our finance committee, which Wayne is not here, so and Matthew's not here. So I tell you what, I'll just kind of maybe introduce what we've got, and then we'll go from there, if that'll work. Will that work with everybody?
Works fine.
All right.
Sure.
So we're going to start out with our finance committee, and the first thing that I've got is Alex. Oh, seems like I'm echoing. Alex.
Alex is muted.
I'm here.
Okay.
There he is.
All right. If you will go to the first page of your packet, and I'm going to try to turn my sound down. Seems like I'm echoing. Okay. All right. If you'll notice on the first page, I've got City of Malvern Airport, and I just want to kind of go over some facts with you. The airport currently has 6 hangars that we are renting out at a fee of $90 per hangar per month. We have not changed that fee in 28 years. So I think it might be time to increase that monthly fee. I did talk with John Neely, and he is our airport manager, and he said that most airports our size, I think, get anywhere from 200 to a little bit more per month for their hangars. We actually have 8 hangars, but 2 of them are taken up by the Forestry Commission. They do a lease every year for the big building that they've got, plus the 2 extra hangars. So we do have a leased type agreement with them. In the next information here, I've got additional hangars would be beneficial for the airport manager, John Neely, because he runs our airport in exchange for using that facility. And with that facility, he is actually the mechanic, and he works on all the airplanes, and he furnishes the gasoline. He does sell the gasoline. We also have a contract with the State Forestry Service to house planes, and we must have a mechanic and a gas facility to keep them on site. And that we really want them here because they're very helpful in a lot of different areas. Attached in the next page is a copy of all the grants that we have received from the FFA and the Arkansas Aeronautics to help with making our facility more accessible and a better facility to handle different types of aircrafts. We did recently get finished with a new taxiway out there, and that is a prerequisite to extend our runway. The hopes is that we're going to be able to extend our runway at some point. When we do, we will be able to handle larger planes. And right now there is a shortage of hangars throughout our area in Arkansas, and that's why it's something that we thought we'd take a look into. Once the runway is extended, the larger planes will be able to land, and we can provide them with gas, or actually Mr. Neely can, and then he will be able to service them and possibly rent them a hangars, because we have a lot of our businesses that have their own planes, such as Araco, Anthony Timberlands, Acme Brick Company. So I think it's going to create more traffic out there. If you look at the second page, I just gave you a copy of all the grants that we've received from January 2015 through 12/31 of 2020. And then with that being said, Alex, I'm kind of to the information that you had John drop off to me about the grants that are available, and kind of what what it's something that's possible that we could look at and get grants for to actually build new hangars. So I'm going to kind of turn it over to you at that point.
Okay, sounds good. I'm Alex Smith with McClellan Engineers, like she said. And there are several different things here in this packet from State Aeronautics. The FAA will not fund hangars because they see that as exclusive use. Anything that's going to make one person money, they're not a big fan of. They like anything for the general public. But State Aeronautics will fund hangars. That's the Arkansas Department of Aeronautics. So they've got several different grants out there that you can mix and match to piece together. You get one of each type each year per calendar year. So, or actually per their fiscal year, which starts in June. So we've put together, kind of been working with John Neely for a while, looking into these hangars, and he's got a list of people who are interested in leasing hangars, as well as John Tanner, who used to be on the airport commission. He's also interested in helping with the hangars, building, purchasing, leasing. He's kind of interested in helping out all around where the grants fall short. So in order to build a hangar, you need the hangar and then ramp space around it, the asphalt apron around it for the planes to pull out on. So it's kind of, to lump it all into one project, it could be a pretty big project. But we looked at, let's see, the very last couple of pages in your packet that have to do with the airports. There's a sketch and a cost estimate and then a grant breakdown. So that cost estimate, I've broken out. The hangar estimate is one schedule, and then there's the apron around it would be another schedule, and then the engineering fees are for both of those two schedules. So it's all lumped in. We would treat it all as one project on our end, but split it up for the sake of getting more grant money. So we looked at, if you put it all into a grant, the best fund, because the ADA is 80-20 grant, which is 80% funded by the state, 20% by the city. That grant maxes out at $250,000. So that would still leave the city with a pretty big share of $187,000. That's a lot of money. So we looked at breaking it up into the hangar and the apron itself. So that if we did the apron as a 90-10 grant and the hangar as an 80-20 grant, then that would put the entire city's share at $83,000, which helps a little bit, takes about $100,000 out of there. That's still a lot of money, but there are options when it comes to leasing these hangars. You can find tenants that are interested and that want to prepay their lease, and so they'll upfront some of the money to help fund the city's portion, and then that'll prepay a lease for X number of years, whatever your agreement is on. I've seen it done that way, or the city may be able to come up with the funds itself, but just as an alternative, you can also get some of your tenants to help. The main things here are the Arkansas Department of Aeronautics to fund a hangar. They have requirements on, you can't just go put up a metal pole barn. You got to build, it's got to meet wind load capacities and have insulation and fireproofing and things like that. So it does have to be a manufactured hangar, which we've helped do all kinds of those. We don't actually engineer the hangar themselves. We would find a contractor that would design and build the hangar and help y'all with that process.
So how many stalls would there be for airplanes?
So the sketch that we showed, or that I've given y'all, shows, it's kind of hard to tell black and white, but there's the one on the left is a 5-bay T hangar. So you could fit 5 airplanes in there. We could stretch it out and probably get another 1 or 2 hangars in there, but that would also have to extend the apron. But where we've put it, it leaves room that you could always add another box hangar next to the Forestry Commission in the future. Or where we built the taxiway over the last few years, there's a hill over there that we shaved off during construction of the taxiway and kind of made a flat spot where you could put an apron in the future, or a hangar in the future. So we've given you a few options. This is where John Neely wanted to see it, so this is kind of what we ran with. But it's a 5-bay T hangar.
Okay. And John is actually in Nebraska. He's in some training in Nebraska, so that's why he's not on our call. He didn't know if he'd be able to get into it with the Wi-Fi that would be available, because he sent me a picture and there was 2 foot of snow. So I guess he wasn't able to dial on. Well, I have a question for you, Alex. So when do we think reasonably we're going to be able to extend that runway? I know that's what our goal has been leading up to.
So we have a project plan for this year to design the runway extension. with the FAA. But before they will give us a grant for that, we have to justify it. And so John Neely's trying to track down, in order to justify it, you have to get letters from potential users, which you can get from Acme Brick and a bunch of those other companies, the Forestry Commission, that state they have an aircraft of a certain size that would use the runway, a guesstimate of, say, however many times a year, say if it's 20 times a year or 100 times a year. And the FAA takes those numbers, and if the runway, your current runway does not justify that airplane landing there, but a longer one would, and you can show that 500 operations in 1 year would use that runway. So an operation is a takeoff is one operation and a landing is one operation. So if you can show that there's enough people that would use it 500 times in a year, that's a justification. So it's a lot of cold calling and knocking on doors, and I know John's been working on that to get some of those letters. But as soon as we can get those together, we can justify it, and then as soon as we justify it, we can put that together for the FAA's grant.
Well, and John also told me that he does have people lined up to take these hangars immediately because there is a shortage of them, I think, in this area. Is that correct, Alex?
Yes, ma'am, that's correct. And you don't have to wait for a runway extension to put a hangar in. Mm-hmm. I think he was just justifying saying that a runway extension would bring larger aircraft, but I think he's got enough people that you could still, if you could get a hangar now, he could fill it.
Well, definitely, I think we need to look at the price of our hangar rental, because apparently if we hadn't changed it in 28 years, I think it might be time to go up a little bit. Does anybody have any questions about it? I mean, it's going to be something we're going to have to, everybody go back and just kind of take a look at it closer and think about it and think. And, has anybody got any comments or questions, or what are their thoughts about it?
What is the going rate in this area for a hangar?
John told me about $200 a month.
Oh, wow. So
and we're getting really 90. We're getting 90 a month. So if nothing else, we need to actually, up the rent.
Oh, exactly. Some happy medium.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Mayor, I might have missed it, but on all of these different options here, do we have a final cost for the city yet, or are we that far along?
Alex, would it be that $83,248.51?
That's based on our estimates. The Arkansas Department of Aeronautics will issue a grant for the apron based on an estimate, but for a hangar, you actually have to have bids in hand to build that hangar. So it will have had to have been designed and bid out for contractors, and then we can go apply for a grant for that. But that means you can build the apron and have it ready, and then as soon as you can get funding for the hangar, come back and build that in the space.
So the apron needs to come before the hangar.
It can, or they can both happen at the same time, either way.
Okay, so is the apron $71,000 and the hangar $83,000?
The other way around. The hangar is the $71,000 match, and the apron, I think I forgot to write apron on there, but the apron's $11,000 match.
Oh, so the total of both is 83.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so that's the total of the apron and the hangars. Okay.
And that's 83 would be the city's part.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
But apparently John Neely has worked with some of the folks that are willing to prepay a certain year, like a year lease or something, to actually help with that cost, he told me.
And one thing about when you build a hangar, the FAA, as part of your grant assurances that you sign each time you get an FAA grant, one of their grant assurances says that the airport has to own the property, and will always own the property. So it would have to be a lease to whoever is occupying it. There are long-term lease options where you do a 99-year lease, but then at the end of whatever lease agreement, the hangar, if they help build it, the hangar will revert to the city as the city's property. So that's a requirement that the FAA has.
Do we have
You
any other?
said that was an 80-20?
Mhm.
Yes,
what you
sir.
said?
So the 90-10 grant maxes out at 150,000. The
Okay,
80-20 matches out at 250,000. They each have different levels of the maximum amount the state will pay. So we maximize the amount what you could get the state to pay by using an 80-20 for the hanger and a 90-10 for the apron.
okay, all righty.
Can you hear me, Brenda?
Yes.
I don't know. I can't see anybody, so I don't know what's going on for sure on my computer, but I can hear y'all. So
We
Uh,
see you.
Did you
Oh,
go
yeah?
up to the top and hit your, well, I don't know why.
I think mine's all jacked up, but anyway, okay. So you said that somebody is, I guess John's going to be tracking down something to get the money situated this way. Is that what I understood you said?
Well,
Whose
What
responsibility
he's
is that?
saying is he's got people already lined up to lease these hangars. And some of them are willing to do a long-term lease, like a year or 2-year prepaid lease to help with the cost of it. Even though we did that, it would still retain as city property. It has to be city property. But there are ways that we could get some funding for the people that are wanting to lease these. There's such a shortage right now that people are just begging to have airports build the hangars because they've got planes and no place to put them, is what I understand now. Alex, is that kind of correct? Or
Yes, ma'am. And then one other little issue that I want to point out is the State Aeronautics Commission, their revenues are down in COVID. And so to build a hangar, you kind of got to get in line. So you would take bids and then get in line and wait for a grant. If you wanted to pursue a hangar with them, then we can go with you and meet with them and kind of explain your case. And they usually are, once they've met with you in person, they'll be more likely to try to get your grant moved up to the top. But you would have to wait for available funding there. And
So
I
it
think
might
that's
not
where
happen right away, Alex, is that what you're saying?
it may take a little bit to get the grant for it. Yes, sir.
I understand.
But that is where John Tanner, if y'all wanted to get him involved, he said he was very interested in funding the construction of them, and he wanted to lease one or two of them, and then I don't know, he had a whole plan, but that's another issue that would be y'all's decision. I just wanted to say there is another option there if the funding from the state takes too long.
Okay, Alex, one more thing. Now, to get the
Okay.
grant money the way you have it, did I understand you say that something had to transpire, like getting a contract from Acme Brick or somebody like that? Or did I just hear that
No,
wrong?
I'm sorry. That was for the runway extension. That's a completely separate project from these hangars.
Okay.
the ultimate goal, David, is the ultimate goal is to extend the runway. And we have to have letters from some of the bigger companies saying that they will land at our airport, which we've had a lot of companies contact us about landing here because it's, they'd rather land here and have a closer drive to their plant than they do like in Hot Springs. So like I say, some off the top of my head I remember talking to with John was Rocco, Acme, Anthony Timberlands were the top three that I can remember talking to. So do we have any more questions for Alex? Anybody? Well, Alex, thank you so much for coming to our meeting.
Yes,
and
ma'am.
I
Thank
think
you.
it's something we're just going to have to look at and think about and kind of discuss. I do think that we do need to look at the lease amount of our hangars. I think it's time after 28 years we go up on that. So, but anyway, so if nobody has any other questions, we'll move on.
Okay, and if anybody thinks of any other questions, feel free to get a hold of me. The mayor has my number and email, and I'd be happy to talk with any of you.
Okay, thank you, Alex.
Thank you.
And I just wanted to remind you again, just so you'll know what we've done, again, in the information that I have in these packets, the second page about the airport does show all the grants that we've received. I thought that would be interesting for y'all to look at. Do you want to act on raising those hangar prices, or would you like for me to do some research on the surrounding airports and find out exactly what they are charging? Would that be better for me to have that maybe in March?
That would, I think that would be better,
Yes.
Mayor.
That's kind of what I think too.
Mhm.
So I will check on surrounding airports and get some comps for y'all to know. So, okay, next we have the resolution for the fire truck lease. And it's just where we are actually paying the 120,000 down payment this year. Pardon? Oh, I thought someone said something. And then we will be financing the 563, 672. We have to, I don't know why I'm feeding back. Did y'all hear me feeding back?
It's probably my computer.
Well, sorry.
It's
It's
acting
doing
really
better.
weird.
Maybe if I turn my sound down, maybe. Okay, let's try that. So, the resolution, we do need to put the resolution on the agenda so we can pass it, because before they will give us the lease, this resolution is telling them who legally can sign the paperwork, which is the mayor. So I would like to put that on the agenda, and David and Mary, do you agree with that? Do you want to make a motion? There's just two of you.
Make a motion, we put it over the agenda.
I second it.
All right. We'll ask that to go to our agenda meeting then.
Okay, Mayor.
Do anybody else have anything for the finance meeting? Nope. Well, then I guess we'll move on to Mr. Stiles.
Are you ready for me?
I am, yes.
Okay, I called the agenda meeting to order. Under new, there's no old business. And so under new business, we have a vote to abolish planning commission ordinance number 583 and 1097, and amending 601 and 2013-04. So Mayor, you want to enlighten us about that?
Yes, this is what I talked about at the last meeting. We are going to abolish our current planning commission, because currently we have 2 members from each ward, 3 from the county. And so it's a very large group. And Wayne, I think, is not on yet, but he did tell me that it was just too many on that board. There used to be 5 years jurisdiction area, which was 5 years out, 5 miles, excuse me, out to the county. That no longer exists. It's only 1 mile. So we would like to abolish that part of it. The next ordinance is going to reestablish it. 1 person from each ward and 1 at large.
Okay, so you want both those items on the agenda?
Yes.
Hey,
David, was you saying something?
David, could you mute your machine a minute and see if that's feeding back?
yeah, we're trying to figure out what's wrong with my computer. Sorry,
We're all
guys.
echoing bad, Mayor. We're all echoing real bad.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, okay, so the next one, the citizens wish to appear. Okay, nobody there. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead, Mayor. Do I hear a motion a second from the agenda committee to place item B, resolution for the fire truck lease on next Monday night's agenda?
I make a motion. Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, that'll be there. Under new business, motion and a second to place item A, a vote to abolish the planning commission on next Monday night's city council agenda. Do I hear a motion a second to do that?
So moved. Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All right, that carries over, Mayor. Also, do I hear a motion a second to put item B, a ordinance to reestablish the planning commission on next Monday night's agenda.
I make a motion.
Have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, Mayor. Is there, does any council member have anything they'd like to see on next week's agenda? Anything besides what we've discussed? All right, I motion to adjourn agenda meeting.
I make a motion. A second.
Okay, agenda is adjourned. All right, Mayor, it's yours. Mayor's report.
Okay. I don't know of any citizens wishing to appear that contacted my office. Are there any on the call that would like to speak? Okay, no comment. Okay, the only thing I have under the mayor reports is just to let you know that the bid opening for the walking paths at the Malvern City Park will be on February the 16th at 2:30 via the Teams meeting, like we have here. We did get the 80/20 grant from the Arkansas Highway Department. They are putting 80,000 and we will have to add 20,000, which our 20,000 can be used by in-kind too. So it may not, I actually budgeted the 20,000. We may not end up having to use it. So we're just, hopefully we can do a lot of in-kind work. The next thing I've got, Cecilia's on the line and she's going to kind of give you an update on Pearl Water.
All right, we are set for hearing on Wednesday at 9 a.m. David Costin will be in our attorney's office. He will be our witness for the current petition or objection we have to Perla's water sale. They are currently trying to sell their department to Central States Water out of Missouri. We are objecting to the sale. Based on the contract not being sufficient. It lets the buyer out of the contract almost for any reason whatsoever. And we've expressed that we do not want to be in the position that we've been in with the other sale, which was never consummated. So at this point, we're asking the court to not approve the asset purchase agreement that they have attempted to enter into, and we're also asking for relief from the stay, which prevents us from moving forward with our lawsuit here in state court. So we've got two things on Wednesday, and our attorney tells us we should have a ruling that day, most likely, but there could be a possibility that it would be a few days before we knew what the court was going to do, but that will happen on Wednesday. And we're just really looking forward to getting that behind us and hopefully moving forward with getting some structure in place. We're also asking the court to put in adequate protection for us. We're asking for a security deposit for moving forward because they have not paid their balance as required each month over the last few. Bill went out today. We'll see if they pay by the 10th as they're supposed to. But so we're asking for some security to protect us moving forward with the sale, the wholesale sale of water. We did receive communication from Central States inquiring about how we, sell the water and so forth. But we'll see after the court rules if that contract is going to be entered into, and then if so, David and I will deal with Central States Water moving forward to get that in place. But hopefully we'll know something on Wednesday.
Okay, see if the sale is allowed by the court.
Yes.
Do they assume the debt?
Yes, the contract that's been proposed includes payment for any and all debt owed to Malvern Water first. So
Okay.
at closing, we would be paid first.
Okay.
Okay. Any
Have
other
they-
questions?
Oh, have they tried to make a payment since lately?
They made a payment, but not a full payment. They were missing, I don't recall exactly, but $9,000 short, if my memory serves me. But so they're falling behind again.
So Mayor, I know we can't touch when they filed, but all of that considered, what are they in debt to us now? Everything.
I think it's $260,000.
That was the bankruptcy amount.
Mm-hmm.
Since that time, David, I know you're on the call. Do you know exactly what they owe at this time? I know that they have been behind about $8,000. They've been paying everything, but then they started not paying the full bill. And at this point, I'm not sure exactly how much they're in arrears again. I know it's at least probably $10,000.
I think their next bill,
Oh, David's there.
next bill is around 35,000, but that's with 2 or 3 months of non-complete payment.
So 35,000 is what they owe because they haven't been paying the full payment every month. Is that correct?
That's the last number I can remember. I wasn't in the office today with my dad, but Friday, yeah, it seemed like it was around 35,000.
And that's due by the 10th of the month.
Yes.
Yeah.
So if the sale goes through, will we collect that total amount or just the 35,000?
We'll get the total amount, don't we, Cecilia?
Yes, we will receive the total amount that they had on the day they filed bankruptcy.
So, which is around $295,000.
Mhm. Well, depending on what they pay on the 10th.
Right. Okay.
Okay, and the only other thing I really have is I signed a contract with the fire department. David, we're still echo. Can you mute for a second if it's you? David Cross, can you mute for just a second? Okay, all right. It must be we're going to have to work on your computer because now I'm not echoing. The only other thing, just to kind of give you an update, we did sign the contract on the fire department, so we will have a pre-construction meeting. We haven't set it yet, but it's going to be very shortly, so that project will be getting started. We are still working on, we're very, very close. Mike's on there, but we're very, very close to having all of our specifications to go out for our getting our streets fixed. We have been working with the people that helped us with our street studies to make sure that all our specifications were correct and accurate. So that's on go. And then also we're not far from being ready to go for bid on the fire station. The police department. So we've got all those things going right now. And then next Monday, I will give the state of the city address that I am required to do by law. But other than that, that's about all I have.
What about the COVID count, Mayor? Do you have that?
COVID count, the judge last night, I didn't hear tonight yet. Last night, I think, was 149. Let me look to make sure, but I think he told me 149. And that is community cases only. Yes, 149. So that's what it was. And it's been fluctuating. It actually has it went up to 210, then it went back down all the way down to 135, and now it started back up to 149. As far as employees, we do not have any employees right now that I know of we do. We have one employee right now that we do know that is in quarantine due to the fact that I have been alternating some of our departments. It worked out great because I did not have to shut down the street department again. So we do have another one that his wife does have it, and so he is off right now being quarantined. So, we're just trying to manage each day what we have going on, and hopefully the vaccines will be available for everyone very soon. I know that we've been kind of disappointed because I know that our community care pharmacy has actually been ordering like 1,000 a week, and at times she's been getting 100. But I do know that some of the other pharmacies in the area have helped her out with some shots for the teachers. So that ought to maybe break some loose for some that's in the category. I see that Wayne has checked in. Wayne, got your shot?
Got my shot.
Have you started growing your third horn yet or anything?
No, no, feeling no side effects yet.
Yeah.
They're yet to come.
So I do not know yet. You know, the police have gotten their shots, the firemen gotten their shots. So I don't know yet when everybody else will, but I have asked all of our department heads to let me know, you know, everyone in their department who would like to have the shot. There are still some that are kind of leery of it. But, you know, we will encourage all of our employees that will to go ahead and get it. So any other questions or comments or anything for me? Anybody? Well, do I have a motion to adjourn?
Make a motion to
moved.
adjourn.
I have a motion. Mary, you want to second it?
Second.
All right. Well, it was good seeing everybody, and well, I guess we'll see you next Monday. I guess we'll keep meeting this way, just to kind of FYI. Cecilia has checked into this, and even though the governor did not extend doing the meetings the way that we did, she did find an attorney general opinion, and as long as we make it available to our citizens, she doesn't see a problem whatsoever for us to continue meeting this way. And it may be a good idea just to continue doing this until maybe a few of us get a few more shots, or even if we could get our police department built, we'd have a lot bigger facility to be in. You know, that's what concerns me right now, is our courtroom right now is really, really small for us to really maintain our distance. But I say for right now, let's meet like we're doing, and then hopefully we can readjust to something later, if that's okay with everybody.
I agree.
I agree.
All
I
right.
agree.
See you next Monday.
Night, everybody.
Bye, y'all.
All right.
Have a good evening.
Night, everybody.
See you later.